This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie Wautier, and I'm the host of Conversations with a Chiropractor. This is not a health how-to, but rather a conversation with some amazing people I've had the pleasure of being with on my journey of life. Think of it more like Tuesdays with Maury, a fireside chat, or chicken soup for the soul. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy this conversation with a chiropractor. In this episode of Conversations with a Chiropractor, I have had the gift to sit down with a young woman who was born and raised in the wakes of Nazi Germany. She shares stories, she shares triumphs, she shares resilience. Please get ready for this conversation with a chiropractor. So you were born in 1936.
Yeah.
It's called Mulheim, Germany?
Mulheim, Mosel.
Okay.
The Mosel, it's the river, and it's the same, only but a little smaller than the Mississippi. There are also the boats going out transporting coals and food and all that stuff.
So it was a major transport for goods and things like that.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever swim in the river? Was it swimmable?
Oh, yeah, we all learned swimming in that river in the summer, yeah.
How big was the town?
The original people, 800.
Wow.
And now, I don't know, it's a lot of people moving in,
Okay.
Like my brother says, you won't recognize where we were born. I said, you kidding me? He said, no.
Really? So you still have a brother there?
Yeah, no.
No.
I lived in Switzerland for 7 years. And then I came back to Germany. My older brother, he stayed. Then he brought the younger brother in.
To Switzerland?
And he promised. Then my brother gave the nationality up, and he's a Swiss because the kids are born in Switzerland, so now you can buy yourself in a small town, and that doesn't cost much. So mom and dad are Swiss now. They are not German anymore.
Wow.
Because the kids are born and raised in Switzerland, so they take actions of that,
Do you think because of everything that happened that there's like a bad reputation of being German? No.
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, no.
No.
And it's a neutral country, Switzerland. And the master you say no.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you have two brothers? Two brothers. One has passed and one is still in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was young. It was a moped accident.
Oh, how tragic. I'm so sorry. How old were you when
He was, I think, on his birthday, and he got 50 or 51, I don't remember. Yeah, he was young, and he got from the trolley, the bus, in those grooves where the trolley was driving in short. I said, he probably too much wine or beer, whatever he drank. And he got in there and got thrown off. And he had open heart surgery and he ripped everything open, but he didn't go to the hospital. No, they couldn't do nothing. He died.
Oh, so sad.
He had a heart attack, you know.
Mm.
He had bypass from the leg and up on his chest was ripped open.
Wow.
The wound.
So he must have had his heart surgeries pretty young,
Yeah,
before he was even 50.
yeah.
How old were your parents when they passed? Do you remember?
My mom was 83, and my dad died in the war.
He did.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So 1936, when you were born, was just
That, yeah,
of the Nazi regime.
yes, right.
What was that like for you as a little girl?
I don't like to talk about that. I don't like to talk about the war. It's too much memories, you know. And lots of people ask me about this, and I'm not talking about that you don't understand what that means. A war you have to go through.
We don't understand. There's no way we can understand
No.
what it was like to live in fear every day.
And the silence constantly and scary.
I'm sure it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Switzerland when you were a young girl to
Yeah,
get away? 18?
That's your mom gotta go.
Because
Mhm.
your dad passed away.
He was young, very young. Mom was very young with your 3 kids. I don't exactly how old she was anymore because they don't talk about that.
Right, right.
In space, everything was kids. They let kids be kids.
And you probably didn't know all of the adult things that were being talked
No,
about.
The Americans know more about the children war than I do, you know.
Really?
Yes, because when we could go back to school, could not talk about it. Even before there was nothing in history what our country was that was forbidden,
Forbidden to talk about it in school. Wow.
could not discuss it.
Mm.
About the Nazis and Gestapo and all that stuff.
And I'm sure that your mom had to just keep it all together if her husband had died
Yeah.
fighting in the war. And then she had 3 kids to take care of.
And the government didn't give you nothing.
Mm.
It was hard for me, for us kids, that Dad was gone. I was the worst.
Really?
They always said, Dad, come home, because so many people said, missing in action. And we only knew he was gone for years. His best buddy from another town, when Dad grew up, came back, told Mom, because we have no roof, no nothing. He brought Mom his billphone and his stuff with the numbers and everything. He said he died in my house. He said we got blown up in the bunker where he was at night. He had the watch, you know.
Oh my goodness.
And with the head grenade, that's when they attacked that bunker and everybody got killed in there. And he had to leave there leaning on a tree. And he said, if you make it, go see my wife and kids, you know.
Oh,
I
my
never forget that when he came in the house and recognized the man, and then he brought all that stuff there. Then we knew he was really not missing in action.
You found out exactly how he had passed away. And they were fighting against the Nazi German forces?
It was the Americans they fought the Russians.
Oh,
The Russians killed my dad. He died in Russia, in Netland.
really?
It's a big city. And then my aunt and uncle, they got killed with a bomb in their house. It was hard for Mom, I tell you. She had to go through hell.
And then she had to stay strong for the 3 kids and try to...
3 jobs she had.
Really?
The ambition is like she has. That's from Oma.
What kinds of jobs would she do?
With the farmers, you know, the field and the vineyards. That's where she was working. till she was 75. She moved those mountains.
Did.
Yeah. We had grandma out. They was that the 800 people was all little farmers, you know. They had fields, acres, and vineyard. That's where they lived from. And
Okay.
then that's bigger and bigger, and the people pushed the farm people out.
Mhm.
They had to go outside because of the smell. And now, all of a sudden, it's a big city on that river. You know?
Big city.
They come in from the cities, and it's nice to walk through our area, through the vineyards. They go high up in the mountains, the vineyards, and when it's a bright day, you can see the river and count 13 towns around our town.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet it is so beautiful. Last summer, my family and I had the chance to go to Europe for a singing group with my daughter. And we went to Dinkelsbühl, Germany.
Where?
Dinkelsbühl, it's in the southern part.
Oh,
And Switzerland. I couldn't believe every road we went on in Switzerland, there were vineyards, like
Yeah.
winding
yeah.
up the mountains. Vineyards.
yeah, the wine the same, you know. It's the Moses and the wine. And it's nice. I mean, you see all those towns, and then on the high in the mountain, you see the castles sitting there from the Roman, you know.
Near your hometown, there's a famous castle, right?
Roman castle, is it? And then we have two with Roman castle, and then in another town, that has been visited. And
Yeah, I remember the one in Castle. I vaguely remember being.
yeah, we've been there, Michelle, for coffee and cake. That's now. They made a coffee out stand, you know, and then you can see how the Romans lived and where all the torture stuff was.
Oh my
Gosh. I never did go down. I said, I don't want to see that. Well, that whole area where I come from was Roman. The biggest city is Trier, and there's so much left from the Romans. That's how it all became a
Tourists.
nice city, beautiful homes, and right on the river. Wherever you walk, everything is asphalt. You don't walk on dirt road.
No, they've made it easy for the American tourists.
Yes.
The tourists from everywhere, I'm sure,
Yeah.
who don't want to get rocks in their shoes.
Even the vineyards, the farmers, it was so hard when we did go and pick the grapes in October and the wine press came. It was nothing dirt and mud, and when the crowds had to pull those heavy barrels filled with grapes.
Oh my
So
goodness.
now you can walk nicely and nobody bothers you, you know. It's all hard.
Very different. And your mom,
Yeah.
her working conditions.
She saw that still, you know.
Oh, yeah.
On.
What did you all do when you moved to Switzerland? Did your mom have a job there?
Mom stayed.
Oh.
See, we didn't stay in Germany. My brother was a carpenter. My younger brother was a baker. And I moved with her.
No kidding.
Yeah, fur coats and leather coats. all
You
that shit.
did.
And we didn't they lived on your own. Oh, my brain is not more than good. It's just what I want to say. What did I say? You know,
You were making fur
I
coats?
should have gone to big city with an uncle of mine. I didn't want to live with him, but they lived on my own. No way. They didn't pay me much. I was young and not that much experience in my things, you know. So Mom found an ad in the paper in Switzerland. They're looking for a machinist. That's where me applied, and Vancouver. Oh, I love Switzerland, you know. It's one of my most beautiful countries I've been in. And made good money. I had my own apartment and all that. My brother too. And the way he got raised, well, we knew we had to behave. He said, don't come home. You have debts or get in trouble with the police. And Mom was very tough, my mom. She helped everybody.
So you worked as a machinist
Yeah.
in Switzerland?
Yes.
A seamstress, like
And see, it's not the seamstress, the similar to it, right on the machine. I was And he put the furs together, and yeah, I loved it. I was good at it, and I worked in 2 different places. Those bosses, they stole one another, not the working people who had more money, you know.
One company said, oh, we'll pay you more.
And then I packed up and said, okay, put my things in, and then it was right on the main train station, the main roads to the city where I worked. I worked here. The next beautiful store was there. And my colleague who worked with me, she was there already in the other one. She said, May, go get her. She is good. And so one day I did go to lunch, and that's that big Cadillac sits there, the convertible, you know. Him and his wife. I said, well, how much you give me? They knew the problem I had in that store, because you had to be updated with your taxes. And one day I had to go home. And because Mom was sick, I had to bring my passport. It's a Swiss passport, and my passport was in the police station. They see it's you pay taxes.
Oh, in Germany. No, I'm sorry. Okay.
The boss took my money and his wife and spent it. So I couldn't get my passport out. So that was a good reason to leave, you know. And I said, you can get in trouble. And he did. I said, I didn't do nothing wrong. I could prove, and I pay every 2 weeks when I get my pay. And the taxes was paid, but I had to pay half, and he had to pay the other half.
Oh, right.
But they gave me the passport because the other boss worked for me. I mean, arranged everything. He was my sponsor again. You know?
Okay. So he saw that somebody did you wrong, that old boss did you wrong.
And he got fined and everything, and he had to pay right away. All that, I don't know how long did he do it. Till I got my passport out, you know. They don't give it to you. There's a red flag in it. Or what's that? Miss Schrader, you cannot have your passport. I said, why not? No taxes are paid here. And since I said, what? So I had all my slips where my pay is. And sure enough, and Social Security, everything was on there, and taxes taken off. And so it was not my fault, it was my boss's fault.
Wow.
So then I had the other boss was much better for me. You know?
Oh, good.
And we got pay raises and all that.
He was more honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when you're a young girl in a foreign country, and how are you supposed to know that this man didn't, pay the taxes?
That's why I kept everything.
Good.
Receipts and all that. She knows I still do that today. Go shopping, and I have my receipts, even if it's in the checkbook or whatever. And Michelle knows I keep everything on paperwork.
That's good.
And she said, good grief, Mom, that has to go. She threw all the whole pack she took out of my drawer. And I said, I don't know. There was a stack of, was it Michelle? Medicare? No.
TRICARE.
No, not TRICARE.
Well, then maybe Medicare.
Then it was Medicare, yeah.
Of papers.
Yeah, this is not a bill, everything is paid for me and all. And I said, yeah, we have to get it out of shredding and build a machine up so much paper. We still have the military. We got lots of paper.
No, because we went through most of it and got rid of it and just kept the things like...
No, I put my receipts from shopping in. Oh, yeah.
Through all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the office. There's a lot of paper still there.
It's hard to keep up with papers. We have a camp, and we take those private things and we just burn them in a bonfire.
That's not it's what she I pull it down. It goes fast, and then
the shredding machine.
Yeah.
So speaking of your husband, how did you meet him?
When I came back from Switzerland.
Whether you're into comedians roasting each other's life choices or turning yesterday's bad decisions into today's funny stories, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Download the Amazon Music app and get in on the joke, or go to amazon.com/ad-free comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
First sight, we met in,
Love at first sight. Wow. Was he walking on the street? Were you in a restaurant?
they watched me a long time from walking alone. I go to work and they saw me going home. That's what the Americans watch girls, He saw me, and then two friends. They said, I had a girlfriend from England, and her husband was a buddy with mine. He said, we got a girl for you. Almost a blind date, what I had.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and he knew me only from seeing it. Then one time I did go, he was in a bar and film club. My girlfriend, she was whatever, mistake IDs.
Even back then.
Yeah. And I said, don't ever do that. I said, I don't do stuff like that, And I saw him in that horseshoe bar, and I followed him, and I told Annette, I said, this guy I would like to meet again.
Oh.
And then I met Bill, I think 6 months later.
So you guys had been watching each other.
Yeah, and he called me on my shop. He knew my name, that I was in the book. He called my shop and asked me if I can go out with him for dinner on a Thursday night. I said, heck no. I said, I'm not going home on a Thursday. I said, I'm working late. How about Friday then? No, I'm not going out on Fridays either. That was my life. I was working with the boss. Then he said, he almost wanted to give up.
He thought you were turning him down. Maybe he didn't think you liked him.
Then he said, for Saturday, I said, yeah, I get my hair done and all that. That is my day. At 7 o'clock. It was so long ago that I didn't see him. I couldn't remember what he looks like. I wanted to give him my address. He said, I know your address. I said, good, great. I'll with Jack. And them two was riding together on the Friedrichstrasse. And they saw me walking home and go home. I said, good grief. I said, are you stalking me or what? Anyhow, I said, okay, 7 o'clock.
But you need to back up and tell her that you knew Uncle Jack.
Godparents, I knew sirs.
Oh.
In Champagne, but
The guy that my dad used to ride along the street with.
Yeah.
No.
And they met me in that bar, and they wanted to sponsor me to this country.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, he was like my father. Everybody called him mother and father. Then they had no kids.
Aww.
And
They became like my grandparents.
Yeah.
They were a
They
milestone function in my life.
yeah,
Wow. And so this man was an American soldier.
yeah.
But his wife was there?
Yeah, when you get married, you have to go
Okay.
with your husband. If not, that's a divorce. They have housing and everything paid for. I mean, they have to pay for that too. But the wives and kids have to go too. So anyhow, I got in there and he said, I know you, Jack said. And then I met that couple, and he was like a father to me, a father I didn't have. And we became close friends. Wherever we were stationed, they followed us. Then I got married, and on Christmas, I brought him home. My mom, she didn't like it when I called them mother and father. I said, well, Jack is like a father to me.
Weren't they at your wedding?
Huh?
Were they at your wedding? Ruth, Cody, and Uncle Jack?
There was what?
At your wedding when you married them?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, you forgot to say.
Yeah.
So they must have met your mom.
Oh, yeah. Your time, Mom. Before they came and visited on weekends. Then I got pregnant, and they left in February. In March, she was born. They stayed in contact to Texas. I brought her home and called them at nighttime. I had to change her and feed her. My husband said, let's call Jack and Ruth. Ask if they wanted to be the godparents of Michelle. Ruth called her my pumpkin. You know. They loved her.
Can I back up a little bit? You have your first date with your husband.
Yes.
How long do you date before you get
year.
a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Did your mom like him?
Very much so.
She did.
For an American, I said, oh my God, how can I explain that, you know? And Mom always said, what's the matter? You don't find anybody to get married to? I said, I don't trust any man. I said, why should I? He become an old man in those days, you know. You have to have this and this. You got to save this and this. You have to have insurance. I said, leave me alone with that. You did that all, you know. And one day, I said I'd go home. Every weekend, I did go and visit Mom. It was not long. And I told my husband, I said, boy, he said, that's fine. I said, I don't know how Mom reacts to that. And one weekend, I was alone at home. I said, Mom, next weekend, I have a boyfriend. You do? Yeah. I said, that is serious. I said, can I bring him home? I said, is he German or what? No. What is he? American. She looked at me and I said, okay. And Mama said, you will love him. And she saw him and, oh God, that was welcome in that house, you know. And, yeah, very much so. Then Ruth Goldie and Uncle Jack, more Americans I brought in when my friends came along and Uncle Willie and them. And everything was sleeping in the house, you know.
In your mom's house?
Yeah. There was an old farm we lived in still.
Okay.
Then we got married. When I met him again, one was more nervous than the other. I lived in a villa where I rented my little apartment. He had a big alley to go through with an iron light. He said, I know that where you live. Oh, I said, for quite a long time. Here comes a whistle at 7 o'clock. I peeked through the window. I couldn't really see much and did go on the door. I opened up and I said, Bill? And he said, Lee? I said, yeah. I couldn't breathe. Those two pair of brown eyes, they clicked again. Spot was flying. And he was so nervous, he got lost in that city where he wanted to bring me. I said, you cannot ask me where to go to eat. I said, I'm new in this city. I didn't drive then. But finally he found it. I said, good grief. We did that whole Wiesbaden city. And from then on, you need to have brought him home. I said, okay, Mom, accept him. My older brother is Swiss, and the younger brother married a French, and I married an American. Mom said, now it's my turn to get married. I said, no, you don't marry anymore. I said, yeah, I bring a Russian home, then be international and get ready to come like that. He had lots of humor. And then I knew that she would love Bill, my husband, and she came twice to this country. She never flew in her life. First time she came to California, and the second time she came up here to the base. She realized how much we loved this area. It's similar. See, what I wanted to build when we got each time stationed somewhere else, I loved it. You know, I don't have to pick up. The military did that.
Yeah.
They packed you up beautiful and shipped everything out. I said, Bill, I want greenery, I want mountains. I said, I'm tired of weather, and I didn't like this hot weather. New England, where he comes from, I didn't like. People are cold in New England. And it was so muggy there, and the winter was icy and a bit of cold, you know. And I said, man, I loved it to travel. Each time I said 2 years or 2.5 years, I said, it's time to pack up. I said then,
You did?
yeah, where you want to go? And each time I said the bank, or he came home and shook that paper and he said, you got one? Yeah. I said, be leaving. I said, good. And I was ready each time another state.
You loved the adventure.
Yes, I did.
So you had your daughter, Michelle, in Germany.
Yeah, in the military hospital.
And then how old was she when you came to the U.S. for the first time?
2 months.
Wow. And what was your first, you were on the East Coast for the first time in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Did you speak much English?
Yeah, I started and I learned everything myself. My husband brought me through the towns and I said, oh my God, are you sure there come no Indians out of those small roads there? And he laughed. He said, no, it's over. The homes are so different here. We saw TV, the West. That was, in my mind, like the U.S. would be like that. And you still see those old stores. And I said, oh my God. I was scared when I had them alone on base.
Oh.
And then hurricane, all those bad weathers, we don't have that. I like the snow, but New England had bad. From there, we traveled to Hampshire, New England.
Well, if I remember correctly, we left there and went to California.
That's right.
But we went back to Germany first, though, because Dad went to Vietnam.
Huh?
Yeah.
He was in Vietnam.
I was 2 years old.
I brought Michelle back. He said, you want to stay with Mom? And my mother-in-law, she would love that I stayed there. I said, no. I said, the whole year, I said, bring baby back to my mom. And oh God, it was the most beautiful time I had. Because Mom was happy. Then he called me once from the airplane from Vietnam, and that it go through Wiesbaden to the base and then to my neighbor. And that was over and out. I said, oh my God, how do I? Yeah, just talk, answer the question, then send over and out. And then I call and talk again. Oh my God. That was hilarious. And then she hollered, hi, Daddy. It was all over. I could see him bawling and crying. It was the best gift. It was.
That was very emotional.
Yeah,
mental.
But the boys from the bar, they all were so emotional, those guys.
Well, that was so
For
much.
me, it was very scary to come here. In such a big family, he's the youngest from 11 siblings. And how many grandkids she had then?
35.
So you was this
I was the youngest grandchild. I have cousins.
all over.
When we went back for a funeral, it turned into kind of a reunion. They recognized me, but I did not recognize these people.
Wow. To be the youngest.
Yeah.
Huge family, big family.
Lee, you are definitely very brave to come to the U.S. with a 2-month-old little girl and not speak the language. And
He had no interest to learn the German because everybody spoke English back home too.
Okay.
And I learned fast through magazine and commercials and those shows I watched, family shows. And I learned when she was school, first grade, I had and learned with her.
You did?
Yeah, and I could read, only writing, it's not that good. And my husband, he didn't help me much.
He was always gone. He was always gone.
Yeah, he was always gone. And I learned when I didn't hear my language anymore, it goes fast. But you learn English, it's easy to learn. But he didn't want to learn the German.
It is a hard language. Yeah.
My mom always said, learn what she spoke.
Didn't I speak German first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect German.
Wow.
Came back, but she knew her dad right away when he was sitting when he came in his sister's house. What we did, Mom and I, on the crib, we had a big picture from Dad in his summer uniform.
Oh.
And she spoke to him and we prayed together.
Oh.
And then I explained when I strolled her to the town, we did go to the river, to the playground. And when the airplane said, that's where Dad is. And in every airplane she heard and saw, and she waved come down, it's long enough, I want to see you, but all in German. So my dad came home in July, and she was in the kitchen. We couldn't sleep. I said, Daddy, will sleep tomorrow. And I was a nervous wreck. It was a long time not to sleep.
It must have been horrible hearing the news and not knowing if he's okay.
Oh, it was nerve-wracking sometimes, but the news, and airplane crashing or that got shut down, and oh man, well, he got shut down too with his airplane where he flew.
Really?
Yeah. So he was the flight engineer. Those planes couldn't fly without the engineer. He did all the, the fuel measurement and I don't know, he the pilot and co-pilots were there, and Dad was right in the middle, and he had all those buttons to push.
Making sure that everything
It's perfect.
checking everything out.
So anyhow, when he came home that morning, oh my God, she was in the kitchen. And she stood there and saw that I hugged a man, which she has never seen, except when my brothers came home. Then I turned around, we cried, and then he kneeled down, and I told her German. He said, my daddy, he opened arms, and she flew right into him, hugged him and kissed him.
Oh,
It was on me. And when we flew back in 1969, I had to come back because of my green card, I had to be back right on the same time, the date and everything. I was already a month in the U.S. with her. She spoke German with Dad, then I had to translate, and he said, Daddy, you go and you have to buy me a tricycle. That's what we told her, that Dad, my mom would buy one. In the neighbor was two girls that played together with her, and they had all that stuff, and I said, nobody buys her a tricycle. I promised her when Dad comes back from Thailand, he buys you a tricycle. And that came right out of she was in his arm, and Daddy, you must buy me a tricycle. He got the best one he could find in his town, beautiful little tricycle. And
I remember that red tricycle.
yeah, Michelle was so good, Daddy, more than Mom. I guarantee you that. But my sister, she had her pants on, the bear where she slept with. He bought that for her when she was 8 months old.
Oh,
For Christmas, she got that from him.
I still have it.
that stuffed bear?
Yeah, well, it has to get put back together because one of our dogs got hold of it. But that little stuff moved from his bed to Jordan. Still has. So
And I cannot anymore.
knowing that Jane and John now are having a child, so it's been handed.
Those are beautiful, sentimental
But then
pieces.
when we came back, it was hard leaving my mom and the airport with the baby. She walked in and she didn't want to go. I had a broken ankle, so the Red Cross helped get us on the plane on the
Wow.
right area. So we was on a holding area, and there was all in class, and she could see Oma, my mom.
Oh.
And she started crying. Michelle goes, Oma, and she kicked the doors to get out. She cried, Mom cried. The Red Cross said, get her away from her. And I said, Michelle, we gotta go. I said, we go in the airplane. Then she saw an airplane coming and said, is Daddy coming? No, I said, we go to there, Daddy. And when we was in the plane, talked to everybody in German on the plane. And she running through the hallway, the stewardess said, let her go. The people talked to her in German. He said, Michelle, where are you going? Michelle goes to Thailand and she saw we flew to Thailand to get Dad home. And I started writing the letter with my dictionary and everything. She was sitting there as Michelle was writing too. She scribbled on it and made darn sure that it was in my envelope too. Then we got in and told Bill, and that's one that's from Michelle. He knew that she gave kisses in the air on the paper. I told Mom, I just can see him sitting on his bed in the barracks and the tears running down. I sent the pictures the way she could. So beautiful. Yeah, it was a nice time.
He loved you so much.
He was a good dad.
Mhm.
It could have been worse, So many girls got married and they had to come home. They got beaten up or whatever.
Oh my God.
Dad was very scared of us. He didn't know the man. Oh, the child, real godfather. He checked everything out, the family and all that. In the military, he could do that. He told me, you got a good man, big family. I said, what that means? I said, he has 10 siblings. I said, good Lord. And then one night I did go, Jack and Ruth invited me to base housing. They lived right next to that bar, the champagne bar. They finally had base housing, and I was there, always with them on Sundays. They took me anywhere when Bill wasn't there. I said, where is he? Oh, he's flying again. I said, okay. So they picked me up and they invited me to the base housing for supper. That was on Thursday. I never forget it. I didn't remember his family name, Whitaker. I called it Williker. I think it was that in England. So he asked me, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm not coming out there bowling tonight. I said, okay. I have dinner in base housing with the master sergeant. Bill knew then that he had a wife,
Oh.
Otherwise, with the master sergeant, he had the lower rank, my husband. At first, he looked at me really. He said, yeah. So I had a nice dinner with them, and then I told Ruth and Jack about Bill. And Jack laughed, and he said, where is he tonight? I said, he's bowling on base. And my dad, they had a team, And he said, what's his name? I said, I don't know. And he called the bowling alley and asked for a Bill Williker. If they have somebody there, and then the guy on the desk said, there's no Williker in here, And they laughed, and he said, it's close to that. Jack couldn't remember either. And the closest we have is Bill Whitaker. He said, that's the guy, on the phone. He said, that's Bill Whitaker, not Williker. We came on the phone. He said, I got a beautiful girl sitting here in my house. She needs a ride home. And Bill knew where I was. He said, I'll be right over. So he came and picked me up and brought me back to my apartment. We never separated then. I met him the first. It was great that Mom loved him when we dated. Every weekend I drove home with the bus. It was a 3-hour ride every time.
Wow.
I left on Saturday morning and came back Monday afternoon because Monday morning we didn't have the store open.
Oh.
Yeah, so I could go. My boss, I told him if I get the travel itch before I met my husband, I said, I'm leaving. He said, you can't. He wanted a contract with me. I said, no contract. If I got the travel itch, I said, I'm going back to Switzerland where I belong.
Oh.
So my mom interfered and told him, be good to her and let her leave Germany again. It never happened. Bill came along, and when she met him, that was good for me too. I said, every weekend I'm going home, be with Mom. I said, I never know if I leave again. Where to? I said, Switzerland. He knew I had a boyfriend there. Broken heart. I came back. I was done with this guy, and he said, I may. I said, well, you like to travel? I said, very much so. To be alone, it was good for him because he was always traveling. And
He an independent woman.
Yes.
Who wasn't afraid
Right.
to be alone. And
Right. So he said, yeah. I said, we drive when he came home with me the good food he got in Mom's house. And he said, yeah, we go. I said, you should. I said, I take you back to my mom one of those days. And he said, you got to go and see Mom every weekend. I said, yeah, that you get good food, right? And he said, well, and he liked it. And then he made friends, good friends down there in the town. And they did go in the bar on Sunday morning. Only the guys go. There's no women in there. The women go to church, and then noontime it's dinner, you know.
Oh.
And the guys, it's nothing than politics and sport, but they're talking in there. And he liked that, you know. So everything worked out beautiful. But I never, ever got homesick in my life.
You didn't?
I loved to travel. I learned this with my boyfriend in Switzerland, where I did go in all those different countries. He took me with and showed me. I was in Italy, France, Greece, and he came, and then Germany. I don't know much of Germany, except Switzerland I know better than my own.
Because you were like an adult there, a young adult, experiencing things.
Right.
Well, I think it's interesting. If you were born and raised here, you're not like a sightseeing tourist. You're doing your things. You're going to school. You're going to work. But to be like kind of a tourist in a place where you...
Oh, it was great. And then when Bill asked if she could marry me, she said, yes, but one thing you have to promise me, my girl, American women, they all have to work in America. You cannot have her if she has to work.
Oh.
And he kept the promise. I never worked, always a stay-home mom.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And so we was alone a lot. Oh, God.
More often than not.
She got more homesick than I. She was looking for this and this, you know, and in the Helmut camping place we had to go.
I think that's one of the reasons why, like, the time that I did get to spend with my dad, when she said that I was closer to him, I think that's why, because he was gone so much in my life, that the times that we did do things together,
We often did things together when he was home, even flying in California. I said, good heavens, why didn't you stay in Thailand? He was gone and flying. I said, holy moly. And then he always brought you something. Michelle didn't want toys. I said, what do you want? Money.
well, no, seriously, he would throw all of his change in his suitcase. He would always open it up and be like, there, have that, Michelle, and I'd find all of his change.
From other countries or just
money? That's how I built up my piggy bank.
I gave
It was a bear.
a bear.
Yeah.
Orange juice was in there. And the cap had the slit in
Back when
it.
orange juice came
I
out of the water
still,
bottle.
she had the little big pig with the slit in, but she put the money in. That's how she learned. She liked money more than, better than,
a toy.
yeah.
And what saved all of that?
But he bought stuff for nice clothing, you know, when he was in Hawaii or in Japan, and oh, God.
She wore this blue kimono robe that I used to wear all the time when I was a teenager.
Wanted the same one in maroon you had.
Yeah.
Oh, big, beautiful stuff. Dad bought everything, you know.
When you guys were stationed in California, your husband, Bill, was still going overseas.
Oh, yeah.
So
You
you
were
were...
go to my own town. See, above my town, there was a big firefighter airport. The F-15 was stationed.
F-15s, yeah, fighter.
They was up there stationed, and when he was home,
The bases and
he brought him down to Mom in my town. So he comes, what kind of rain is here that he bring to Mom's? And then when he out of the car, they saluted him and all that. I tell you, my town, they called me the Dollar Queen when I was home. Thought I had so much money while he was in Vietnam.
Oh.
It was unreal. And so that each time wherever he flew in Germany, he got the staff sergeant and a car and down to Mom and picked him up and showed people on the windows and watching. Oh,
Here comes Lee's superstar husband, right?
And when I came home to us, they all saw that son. She stays home like all the others who come back with a baby, a little package. And then one day, Bill, he came home, and then everybody saw that I still had my husband. Everything what I talked about is true. That he was in Thailand and all that. Then I was the Dollar Queen. The Dollar Queen, because every month he sent money, and then the bank. They yak.
And two, I mean, what you should reiterate to Stephanie is that plane that flew after Vietnam. That flight crew he was with, they flew people all over the world on that airplane.
What's the general's?
The general's plane, so he was part of that crew. They flew VIPs all over the world. I remember him as a kid coming back and telling us,
go pick him up. One day in California, and the plane comes down, he said, okay, girls, here come the dads. They opened that window, and Snoopy looked out. He stood there and high, Snoopy white. That was his godparents. Sent them the first Christmas to Germany. And I said, good Queen. I said, Mom, I cannot take that bag. It's too big. When Bill comes down with the plane, he brings a bed. My friend, I remember this. He had goggles on Snoopy, and then he had his card. And the girls saw that it was their dad who bought a Snoopy. I said, my Snoopy, she said. I said, yeah. I said, Dad brought you the Snoopy bag. And there was tears with the other girls,
They wanted Snoopy.
Yeah, they wanted Snoopy. They thought their dad brought the Snoopy in, Dad would go to Mom's and pick Snoopy up. And they dressed him up as a military dog, He had the
like Snoopy and his doghouse.
Yes.
The goggles, they had dressed him up and stuck him out the window when there was landing. And she's danced up and down, Daddy, Daddy, my Snoopy. And she also had a huge giraffe.
No, it was a tiger. It was a big tiger. It was a big stuffed tiger. It looked like a Siberian tiger. From Ruth going up.
Yeah, they said all those big animals, was good time. That man was beautiful. Was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I think it's funny. A lot of little girls in the United States dream of the man they're going to marry. It sort of sounds like you met your dream man.
I did. Yeah. I loved my man very much.
How long was he in the service?
29 years.
29 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So you raised Michelle. I mean,
Mostly by myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Michelle when you came to the UP, when he came to K.I. Sawyer?
12 years. When she came, and he retired finally. He had enough. I said, okay, I had enough to. With all this moving all the time, and leave good friend behind, and she had friends, and said, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go back home to New England, and I said, I'm not going. I said, and then she spoke up, said, Dad, I'm not going. I want to stay here on base. I mean, I'm on base. I want to graduate with my friends now and not start another school again. He got transferred always in the summertime when the kids had vacation. It's so beautiful, You always the new friends. And she said, I'm not going anywhere. We had Germany and England, everything close by. Turkey, everything was on the list, but he could choose where to go. He didn't get none of it.
No.
The general wanted him in, where was it?
Albuquerque?
Albuquerque, yeah.
Oh.
That's where we ended up. That was one state I loved.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. In Mexico, I loved it up there. And he wanted to retire there. That didn't work out. We put money down for a beautiful home and all that, and it didn't work out. he got transferred and
We went back to California.
he did go back to California the second time. Then we came back to New England again.
No, if I remember correctly, even though my recollection from being a little kid is a little cloudy now. But no, we left California the first time, went back to New England,
That's back to
and
Albuquerque.
then left Albuquerque and went back to California. We left California and moved
Getting
here.
KI. And he got KI. Sorry. He said, God, Lee, I'm not going there. I said, what? KI, sorry, my cat, it's a ghost town. It's nothing there for us. I said, Bill, you ain't changing again. It doesn't work like this with me. You have done it 2 times. And you looked for our friends and there wasn't there. I said, no more. I said, thanks, KI, sorry, and that's it. There we go. And then, we came up here and I loved it.
Oh,
I loved it right then. And I love base housing anyhow. Beautiful base housing. They always got 3-bedroom home. I never had to live in those multiple duplexes they have. So never lived in there. We had 3-bedroom home. Like I said, it goes by rank. The 3 tops, they call them. Okay, we had a nice home. She was so impressed.
she got to see it.
Yeah, but I wondered if she'd seen this house. Oh my God, she wanted to go. You know? But she saw the picture, what home we bought here when we finally retired.
So we're sitting in your beautiful home that you and your husband found as your retirement.
Yeah,
This exact home.
We saw that house going up, and I told Dad, Dad, it's my home. He said, too expensive. I said, this is our home.
It wasn't even for sale at the time when you saw it.
And saw it going up. Every week I came up here and did go to Heath's hardware store. I loved to go in there. He had anything and everything. Your godparents loved when they came up here. That's the first thing. Let's go to Heath's. He all excited with the stuff he had in there. So I came every week. I said, how far? When I saw that big home going up, I said, this is our home. It's my dream home. And I placed furniture in here.
In your mind.
In your mind.
When I saw the inside first, we had a realtor who owned that home from him. They owned everything here. There was so much land. The homes you see, they owned where Kathy built, that's in all that area. They built Smythe, a big taxi park.
Where you turned on, when you turned, that was the restaurant.
I said, what the heck? And he built it in those fireplaces.
It's my style.
They don't know, oh God.
Except back here.
Right, it's just that,
That's, she's the daughter of the original Smythe family that owned it.
Yeah, Mom and Dad lived next door to us, you know. They owned everything here. They sold land up, you know. And that's when we bought that house here, we had 1 acre that was standing here. When the years built, they offered him more land and he bought more. It worked out good. We all the way down to the river. And then down the hill, you go here. We had people that wanted to build in here. I said, nobody built next to us. And across the street is state land. Nobody can build there. So we loved it. I said, I had enough neighbors around me. I said, well, when it's isolated here, I said, well, I've never been to Marquette in 2 years. I lived on the base.
Really?
She wouldn't drive herself there.
Oh,
No, it's a ghost town. And today, many. If Dad would be alive and see now what they built,
it's built up so much.
he said, I'm not moving with those people. That's a ghost town there.
Well, I remember driving up for what is now 94, headed to the base, and I remember saying to him, you're bringing us to the boonies, Dad. What is going on? Because I'd never seen so many trees in my entire life.
Yeah.
Because we lived out west for most of it.
Yeah.
Bill, we stayed here. You said there's nothing but trees and there's no homes. I said, that's what I want to see, trees. When I fall in love with Wisconsin when we came up, all that farmland, I said, I'm tired of that flat stuff. We saw all those trees. It still was snow down here when we came. Then at 7 miles, we couldn't find, I said, now where's that place? But I said, well, this is 7 miles. We've been so long on the road, finally we came on base. We had a dog, and we showed the state and those BQ, whatever.
They're called the BOQ, which meant some sort of
Raiders. People were waiting for the furniture to come, and we had a wall, you know. And then they didn't take us because no dogs allowed. He drove the old.
If we stayed at the Holiday Inn,
2 days and stayed there. And then he picked us up and Shelley had to go to school. He arranged everything. He was staying at the Red Horse Ranch in Quinn. I said, oh my God, another ghost town. I said, oh my God, and please, you know. Right. And he said, wait, when you be in the winter. I said, don't say that. He said, we love the winters. We was skiing and then snowmobiling. We wasn't sitting weekends in here.
Yeah.
We out the family.
Enjoying it.
Enjoying the winter. I loved it. Snow in Switzerland, there's a lot of snow in the Alps. We skied, but not in the cities. Where I come from, no snow. Just the roof, it's white. And then we are happy for Christmas. When I was in California, I said, oh my God, I have seen it all. Had hot pants on to make a tree. I took pictures and sent it to my mom. I prayed, I went cold. Then it was raining on Christmas Eve, cold. The Lord gave me that it looked a little bit Christmas Eve, but not was, not much. Oh, good. I said, well, I have to go through. Yeah, I said, Bill, I said, this is now you wanted that. I said, okay. I said, I'm not changing base. I said, you are the one. And in California, you should have gone to Hollywood first and second. He's changed that. And when we came to New England, when we came to Cherished, you should have gone to Cape Cod.
Oh,
Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
Martha's Vineyard,
and
yeah.
It's changed that. He said, not going there. I said, well, I didn't know that. I said, where we are going? I said, we're staying right here in New Bedford. It's in New England. When we got
outside of Boston.
And then I said, where are we going now? And what's nice, I had nice home. All it's the New England type stuff there. And I had a German girl in front of me and a German girl back of me. And there was 4 of us. So that helped me a lot.
To feel like it was home. Yeah.
It was great. We changed. I loved to go. Was ready to pack.
Until you were ready then to stay, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably reached that point. You loved the adventure, but then you're like, now I want to have a home where I can.
Right. The home in California the second time. That's when he said, no, he cannot afford it. I said, Bill, we have to build a new home. Because the money was in the bank, it's the VA even that we could buy a home in California. In California, you know, I didn't sell a home like we tried every day.
Really?
Oh, and shoot up the prices crazy.
Yeah.
But then he said, no, we cannot afford this. I said, I want to see that on the inside. The snows that we was sinking up in our chest. They never plowed this out when we came.
Here, you're talking about here now.
Yeah, this house. And then she lost the key that was outside. I said, man, they found it for that. When she had it between the bricks or something, her husband.
Oh, like to hide it?
Yeah, to hide it, that she doesn't have to carry it all the time for people to come and see the inside. So I peeked through that one window there, that small one that was all the way down to the floor. And I saw just this entrance, you know. I said, oh my God. I said, that is our home. And Bill said, now you wait, we go first in there. we saw homes in Quinn and then on M28 in Marquette. I said, no dice. She said, we don't buy that stuff. And then I came inside, man, I fall in love,
Well, the setting
And
is beautiful.
then Bill said, you don't want to see the place, just saw this in the kitchen. I said, that's windows that I could see outside. Beautiful. We were standing and it was in the 70s, everything avocado. I said, okay, I already had avocado refrigerator also, but we transferred from one place to another. And floor, everything was avocado. Everything got changed over the years. We changed them.
It's very
The
beautiful.
picture we changed. New Svalbard kitchen sits in there. Michelle came down. She wanted a bar with Jules sitting there in my husband. I said, that's fine. And then we was wheeling in that kitchen. Then the Jules came out. She wanted so much money for that house. That was the ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
And she got that home and they divorced over that house.
Really?
Yeah. Because heated was cheap in here,
Oh.
Anyhow, and then that was standing for a year and a half alone. She couldn't sell it that much money she wanted. Didn't get it. And so much money in cash she wanted. And then we came in there and finally agreed to the home. And then the neighbors and the people, when they got wind of it, he said, man, they stole that beautiful home there.
It was the right time.
Yeah.
Just the right time.
Right time, and she had to come down big,
Yeah.
But then she wanted 10,000 in cash down. I said, okay, Bill, now you hear me? This is our home. I said, be coming in here and nowhere else. And he said, okay. Finally, she agreed and everything. But did we work hard in that yard? That was all trees. There was everything up and down, rocks and sand, clay. I said, if my mom would see me now.
Well, I can see that you've put a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears. This is beautiful. And how wonderful that you get to be here every day. And do you feel like in life you've had everything you've ever wanted?
See, we didn't have that back home. Mom was 20. And he said, when Dad comes home, he was a mason. And when Dad comes home, he will build us a nice home. Our homes are different than here.
Yeah.
In here, it's everything wood and plaster. And our homes is all concrete, the walls and cement built, Homes cannot burn. When the home would burn, that was the American was so sharp, they couldn't level that little continent. 4 walls did. Just the roof that go up on the inside burned. Mom saw our town going up in flames. But 4 walls, everything was standing there still. Didn't collapse, just filled from the roof again down. And they couldn't level Europe.
No.
Well, today with their firebombs, if they had firebombs then too, it was awful. But then when that came down, and
Lee, what if you had to tell someone growing up in the United States or in Germany, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them?
What advice? You should, if you go hungry, don't ever throw food away. That is what I learned in this country. We had nothing to eat. The Americans took our food away. The way the Americans put food away, throw out good food.
Wait.
It hurts him. I said with Michelle when she pulled out. I said, but it sits there 2-3 days, has to go. And
She always feels that you don't.
and I learned what put advice. Speak good and don't divorce. Give the man a second chance, because we all knew this country has the biggest divorcee is on this earth, And now, working, young as you are young, work hard and be honest, trustworthy, be honest and work hard. Then you go somewhere.
Yes.
People would know you. Wherever I did go and worked, man, I worked here, good Lord. When I left each time, they were sad. I worked in California, in Long Beach, just for a little bit because we bought another home. I said, no more renting. We buy your home and sell it. You know, you don't rent out and be somewhere in another state. That's no good.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do with our home last time in California. I said, no, guys. I said, we are too far away. And homes get trashed, and then you cannot go and see how other people live in there, you know.
Yeah.
I have seen trash in this home, so we don't live like that, but
Yeah.
like here. Junkyards and all that. I didn't know what that was.
When you've been in the U.S., have you missed being in Germany? Do you feel sad that you didn't get back to Germany?
Each time I'm back home, there was the wine fest. There's something going on in that town. It was hard to go back, you know. I said, Mama, you will see when you come once how they live here. But what's sad for me is they don't know what a holiday is. They respect the holiday here. Like Christmas or Easter and all those gifts they give. We don't do that.
You don't do that in Germany?
No. You get gifts in the family, you know, but not to others or your friend, you know. But like I have seen too much gifts, you know, like Christmas when I was in my sister-in-law's house, and oh my God, I said, this is not Christmas. We have beautiful New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. And people go to church and then walking in the yard, walking in garages, not back home. Sundays, it's a resting day, what God gave you. We go to church, eat, clean up, we are dressed nice, and we go walking in the mountains, you know, hiking.
Really?
That's what we do. Here was very strange for me that people walk on Sundays doing this and that. I said, God, this is not right.
We're not like keeping the Sabbath holy.
Right, the way you learn it from the Bible, you know, because God gave you a day to rest. You should not work, and we don't do that. Welcome, like Saturday at 2 o'clock, you couldn't buy milk in our home, in our town, or bread. People go before the stores, everything closes.
Oh.
There's nothing open. All the big city stores are closed. But the restaurants are open, you know. So many strange people, they have to live somewhere.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, is there anything else that you want to say?
Miss the food.
You do.
The bread, I missed.
What was the bread like?
Oh, the Swiss bread is like the French bread. Now, we have French bread all the time, the baguettes and sourdough bread. We have so many different breads like here too, but the food itself, the meat, it's not the same here like we have back home. That was the biggest deal, you know, when Bill did go home, even when I did go home alone and she was here. What do you want from Oma? I want porch and the sourdough buns.
Oh,
I went to the bakery. Early in the morning, bought the Dutson. What do you do with the Dutson? I said, goes to U.S. I said, you gotta be kidding me.
Didn't you have to wrap it and hide it in your bag? You know how you're not supposed to bring back?
yes.
Not bread. And then she wanted the Kinder Schokolade.
Some chocolate,
Chocolate, all.
which they sell over here now.
Swiss Starbucks and the bread and the meat and the way we eat. I cook everything in Germany. When I lived in Switzerland, I cooked. And the Swiss dishes, what I learned from place to go.
Yes.
Then one day was French, you know. I miss all that stuff. And we eat different, always everybody together on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard to change, you know. If they eat at noontime, you cannot do that here in this country. You cannot walk to a store and buy fresh We bought our food every day fresh from the baker and from the butcher, fresh. Mother Nature was all in the garden when we planted.
So healthy.
We did go in the woods and picked everything, but there was the pick after the war, the blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and full of stuff. My mom had everything for the winter kids. And then we did go for other people and change for food, like oil and all that stuff. For potatoes, that was sad in those days. I told Mom, I'm not going with you anymore to the farm. She was working, and in the evening I had to come with my milk can and get the milk from her. Say, why can't you bring it on? Well, you have to bring the milk can to get it in. And Mom sit there, and I sit on a chair and waited till she was done. A farm was so cheap that I sit there, the water run out of my mouth, and my mom wanted to give me food, and they said, don't give her the food. I said, you have to be strong for tomorrow in the fields to work. That's how the farm people was, bad. Some of them was really bad with Mom. And I'd sit there and drool, all that good bread. But they had one sister in there, she was always good to us. And then she told her sister, I opened that stove and find a nice loaf of bread for her to bring home. She stood on that thing till she found the smallest one. Then the oldest sister took it away and said, this is crazy, and throw it back. And got a big loaf home, big bread, that was good. And then the butter, she was delighted was here so cheap and was there. Mom was also poor on calcium. They walked back home. They said, from all them work alone and the food, they all died poorly.
So sad.
So they eat all that pork fat and they had to throw it all away, but they had canned up, they couldn't eat that anymore when they died. It was awful. And other people next door, they starved. They didn't give nothing up.
Wow. Sad to hear that.
No, it was sad right after the war when the American came in the basement, in the root cellar, and they lived for over a month or even longer. Then we came from my grandma till Mom had the beds, and then the Americans, the German soldier was sitting in the farmhouse and laid in Mom's bed. And then she did go and whip the blankets, sheets away under him. He said, get your ass out of here and help me bring those beds down in the cellar for my kids and me. And the furniture, and she threw them all out the house. Because our house could have been bombarded. We had 4 huge guts sitting around our farm. They didn't explode. If they were going to explode, and there they call this a dump. Huge bombs, huge. I've never seen something like that. Okay. But it brought lots of memories back. Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful and so good to talk about all of those experiences, because you bring so much, right? Like you've lived so many.
I get lost. When I came tomorrow, I get 89 years old. I said, this is ridiculous. So I said, Michelle, I don't want big stuff here. He said, Mom, no, next year. I said, if I live that long for the 90s, then I know she will have a big bash here. Back home, we celebrate normally birthday. Again, white people, it's their 5 and the 0.
Oh, okay.
My mother, 2 years ago when I was 85, we had a big bash up here. That's how we spent birthday, and I like flowers. And she sent a big party for Mom. Okay. I said, no gift. Mom loves flowers. I love my flowers. They stay with me forever because I take care of them.
Yes, you've got beautiful flowers here.
Man.
It has been such an honor to talk to you.
Yeah.
And
And you too, I couldn't figure it out when she told me that. What? Okay, Mama. I said, what is that for, the interview? I said, I never been interviewed except once. That was in Frankfurt, in Germany, when the American ambassador, when I came first time over, They want to know how much English you can speak. I don't know anymore all the question he asked me before I did go to the plane. I had to learn a lot, everything by myself. My husband was here, never here. Go shop, and the dollars and the checks. I had to write bills out and all that. I had to learn that all by myself. I watched him how he did it and copy it.
wow. Well,
Put this a lot.
I think it's so beautiful that you were able to share these stories. And I think it's really neat for our listeners and for your your grandchildren and everybody to hear what it was like.
Kids, we have to see wherever I should, I have my family.
Yes.
Yeah. I said, man, sometimes I like to cry, really cry. I can't cry anymore because of my macular disease and dry eyes. The tear channel is dried out. I don't say, you must have cried a lot in life. I did. I did cry a lot.
You had a lot of heartbreak being in Germany during the war and having
and I was real sick too. I was grow up, and poor girl. And I had to endure lots of pain in my body and so many operations I had. That was so crazy, this world. Mom almost lost both of us, me and my older one. They had the top one. We had what you call that disease. So many people died. Diphtheria. Yeah, that's what we had. We were the edge of dying, us too.
Really?
Yeah, and then from the American, I said, it's funny how America was already in my blood somehow. That hospital got shots for the disease. And that's how we came back.
Really?
Yeah, we was a long time in the hospital sick. I remember that when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
It hit my brother and then me. Mom got quarantined. Crazy wildlife. Mom had I'm never that strong. Michelle is strong like my mom. She's very, I'm strong too, certainly way. But Michelle is, she can take a grip, and where she goes.
What was your mom's first name and last name?
Martha Cherished. Cherished, yeah. Fehrmes. Cherished.
And that's her married name?
No. Schroeder. My maiden name, my dad's name was Schroeder.
So you were named Martha after your mom?
Yeah, Martha Elizabeth, my middle name. That is also a story itself. When I got married and had to sign license and then, everybody calls me Lee. My name is Liesel.
Oh.
Mom wanted me Liesel. She loved that name. And Dad said, no, it's Martha. Martha Elizabeth, both grandmas Elizabeth. And I got the middle name from them. And even he did go and register me. The Bible didn't have Liesel in there.
Oh.
So he couldn't, when I got baptized, couldn't use the name. So Dad was winning. He got his name, Martha Elizabeth. But for me, it was very hard when I had to go to Switzerland and to get a passport. And you still, in those days, you had a visa on anything. Or when I got married to Bill, to sign my marriage license, I had to go and sign Liesel Schroeder, my maiden name.
Oh,
The judge said, good grief, now we have to start all over. I said, Mom, how could you do something like that? See, everything in school, I was lethal. And
okay.
if I get mail or something like that, yeah, I come home today, those who are still there who know me, oh, lethal, that's it.
Okay.
You know, my brother and my sister-in-law, it's lethal. I said, how could you do something like that? Well, she felt bad.
Oh,
How
no.
did I know that you need passport and you go out in the world? I said, yeah, you sent me. You know, crazy
Oh,
in those days. I made many times the mistake when I had to sign something, sign the wrong name. Then I had to do it again, you know, like I had to change the paperwork and all. And I said, yeah, that happened when a couple fight over a name. This is crazy in this place.
well, Lee, it has been beautiful to
Yeah.
talk to you. I'm so grateful and thankful that you shared some of your life stories.
Look, I haven't shared everything, which I won't. It's private for me. Secrets.
Secrets. Yeah, you need to keep some secrets.
Yeah, I shouldn't share, and I don't share everything with, if you know, Mom, you don't have to. Only what you want, you know.
Yes.
That's why, I can tell stories still all night, but I had to go through.
You went
Yeah.
through a lot.
I did.
You're tough.
Yeah, and I've never been sick, and all of a sudden, I said, that's not fun to eat and grow old, Stephanie. It's not. It's not fun.
Yeah.
All the boo-boos who come out, you know, and that's my second stroke I have already.
It's frustrating when you've lived a life where if you wanted to move, you moved your legs.
Yeah, I was busy always in this house. Tip top, everything had to be. I'm very peculiar when it comes to house cleaning, stay in the yard, and everything. I always have everything so nice. My friends, they love to come here and listen with me. They always said, why do you take your shoes off? I said, I can't clean it. What do you want to clean? Everything is clean. I said, we don't do that back home.
You don't take your shoes off.
You walk in, you have mats laying outside, and you got shoes. I didn't even know what that was when I came in this country. We have leather shoes on with leather soles and all that, you know. And then when you walk that on your mat and on the outside, it's clean. And you can go with them shoes wherever you want to. I'm sure when you walk in the field or in the garden, you take your shoes off. That's normal, you know, but not if you visit. Then furthermore, our living room mostly is always separated.
Oh,
See, my house back home was upstairs.
interesting.
And other people, it's the hallway, and you go in another door where the living room is.
Okay.
Then, well, yeah, shoes off. I said, wow. I said, that's no good. I said, well, look, the Japanese, they have their shoes slip-on sitting in front. You have to change and go in those open shoes to get in the house.
Right. Very different. Lots of cultural things,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's very interesting. I learned more with all my traveling than what I learned in school, you know.
I
learned more.
Yes.
Visitors and all those beautiful churches. That's another thing I miss, the churches.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and then the church bells I miss.
Oh,
On every day at noontime, that's 5 bells start ringing and let you know it's noontime, it's dinner time, people go home to eat. But like I said, you see all those towns here, and it's so bright. Every town, they come all different sounds through, you know, with the bells ringing.
oh, how beautiful.
It's beautiful. When you go Sunday morning, you wake up and then the church bell ringing to go to church, get ready. That stuff I miss.
Yeah.
here.
Yes. Yes.
I wasn't by Easter. me to go and Sharon and her boyfriend in the Catholic church by the courthouse.
St. Michael's Cathedral or St. Peter's Cathedral?
Wow, I said, that was my church, you know. When those bells ringing, tears running down on me, I said, wow, is that beautiful? And then my cities and towns coming in my mind. It's Sunday.
Were you Catholic, Reed?
No, Protestant.
Oh, okay.
But we have beautiful churches back home.
My daughter got to sing in beautiful churches.
And that church there, he said, man, listen to that angel who sings there. Oh my God. I don't care that it's Catholic. I love everything. And wherever I did go, I lived and took their culture. I don't, doesn't matter what color the people or how they lived, and I was right in it, you know, did the same thing. That's why I was loved wherever I lived. Like my landlords, they were there each time when I left, said, you will never find a person like you know, one went paying, left the place like I got it. That's the way we get raised too.
Right?
You know?
Yes.
And my granddaughter is the only one who's the same like me.
Really?
Oh my God, ooh. My little princess, I thought. Michelle, no, she is.
She's busy to worry about it.
Yeah. She don't care much about it. I said, you need more counters in here, and every counter she got stuff loaded. I don't like that. No, everything has to be picked up. Each chair has to be straight on the table. There you can see how she had it sitting over there. And like own, or Jordan goes in bed.
Makes it neat.
And I was like this in the kindergarten. The teacher said she never did go home till all those little chairs was tipped up on white under the table, you know. Well, I was, where did I learn that from? Where did I get it? My grandma. Yeah, and she was still clean. So, yeah.
Well, Lee, again, it's been a beautiful pleasure.
It was nice.
I'm going to let you rest.
I have to warm it. I'm tired now.
It was a lot for you to go through all those stories.
Yeah.
We can always do part 2 if more stories you want to share.
No, I don't tell my other stories. No, that is...
Aw.
No.
Thank you, Lee.
Well, you're welcome, man. And fun. See, even Michelle, her memory got opened up.
Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, would you please rate it, review it, like, or subscribe? You can find me on social media at wautierwellness.com, Dr. Stephanie Wautier on Instagram, or Wautier Wellness Chiropractic and Massage on Facebook. And I'm so curious where your next conversation will take you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.